Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Afolayan Abayeme Aziz, and I am in Group 15. And our topic for today would be informative and communication technology. The technology component of information system includes hardware, software, and telecommunication. So I'll be starting with the hardware component. The hardware component has four main components, which includes the input, output, the processing, and the storage. So the input is designed with human capabilities in mind, meaning that when a human is not there, the input doesn't work. Now, what are examples of the input devices? We have the keyboard, the mouse, and the scanners. Now, let's go to the output devices. The output devices basically are devices that show what has been inputted by the input devices. Examples of output devices include the monitor, the screen, and also the printers. Okay, now so let's talk about processing. Processing has three components, basic components. We have the CPU, we have the transistor, and Moore's law. Now, what is the central processing unit, which is the CPU? It handles information, it handles calculations for the computer. Now let's talk about storage, which is the last component of the hardware system. There are four types of storage. There is the bytes, there is temporary storage, permanent storage, and business factors. Now, just to conclude up on all the topics, on everything that I've said, basically the hardware has four main components, which is the input, output, processing, and storage. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Peter Olaoshibikon. I'm a student of Actuarial Science Group 15. So I'll be talking about software component of the computer system. So when we talk about software is basically the component of the computer that contains instructions that direct the hardware on how to carry out its tasks. So software can be further subdivided into application software and system software. So when we talk about application software, this is a type of software used to support a wide range of individual and business activities such as transaction processing, payroll, spreadsheets, and video editing. But in the likes of system software is a type of software that controls basic computer operations such as file management, disk storage, hardware interface, and integration with application software. The system software can be further subdivided into operating system and utility software. So the operating system now is basically talking about the category of system software that perform a variety of critical basic tasks such as handling device input and output, maintaining file structures, and allocating memories. So as for the like of the utility software is does include the variety of programs that perform specific tasks to help manage, tune, and protect the computer hardware and software. So examples of utility software are antivirus software. We have the compressor software. We have the shredder. We have the file management, and we have the recovery. So those are the utility software that we have. Other terminology I would like to talk about is programming language. Programming language are artificial language that provide instruction for the computer about how to accept information, process information, and how to provide outputs. So examples of programming language that we might make use of are COBOL, Java, Python, C++. Other terminologies I would like to talk about are legacy system, source code, commercial off-the-shelf, and software as a service. So the first one, legacy systems. Legacy systems are just old information system that remains in use and are costly to replace. While the commercial off-the-shelf are available computer software that are ready to buy, install, and use. The example of this one is like Microsoft, for example. It's a license stuff. It's a license program that allows users to buy and use them. So it's not a free distribution network. So it's something you have to purchase and use. And as for the source code are all statements that programmers write in a particular programming language. to create a functioning software programs. And lastly, I'd like to talk about open source software. Open source software is basically talking about a software program that fulfills some criteria of free distribution, like that users can build on and modify to their tastes. It has to be free. It is not like unlike the commercial of the shelf software. That one is something that is licensed. They are both licensed actually, but the difference between them is just the first one is not free, and users cannot manipulate or build on the software. But as for the open software, that one is free. It gives users the opportunity to modify in their own tastes. And
my name is Badijo Daniel. I am in Group 15, Year 3 Actual Science. I'm going to talk about networking basics, under which we have local area network, packet switching, and voice over internet protocols, and also types of network, where we have client to server network and peer-to-peer network. So I'm going to briefly explain these terms. Local area networks, known as LAN, as the name implies, it is a communication network, typically a packet communication network limited in a geographical scope. For a computer to transmit and receive digital information, it requires a network. A local area network connects computer hardware in localized areas, like from your schools, from your homes. Examples of local area networks are home Wi-Fi networks and small business networks. Now, packet switching, a name coined by D.W. Davis in 1965, is a natural extension of message switching. It is a method of grouping data into packets that are transmitted over a digital network. It enables sending data between a source and a designated node, shared between multiple users. Voice over internet protocol is a technology that enables users to make telephone calls over the internet or through intranet networks. Examples like Skype, Google Talks, Windows Live Messenger, and thereabouts. Now we go to the types of network, where we have client to server network. This is a network that describes the relationship between two computer programs, which one program, the client, sends a service request to another program, the server, which fulfills the request. For example, you want to check your bank balance in your computer. A client program in your computer will forward your service request to the server program at the bank, which then fulfills the request. Peer-to-peer network. In peer-to-peer network, there is no central server. Computers can share files, printers, even internet connection with one another. An example of this is BitTorrent. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Abel. I'm from Group 15, Department of Actual Science and Insurance. Today I'll be talking about the internet. And the internet is Ethernet is a family of wired computer network technologies, currently used in local area networks, wide area networks, and it's commercially introduced in 1980 and first standardized in 1983. Ethernet has since been refined to support higher bit areas and also greater number of nodes and longer link distances. So, but retains a backward compatibility with some users in the environment. So now, over the time, Ethernet has largely replaced the competing wired LAN technologies such as token ring, FDI, and ARCnet. So when we look at how the Ethernet has evolved, Ethernet variant is used with twisted pair and fiber optic cables. That's what they use to produce the Ethernet. And over the course of history, Ethernet data transfer rates have increased for the original 2.94 MB to the latest 400 gig per second, which Ethernet standard includes several wiring signaling variants of the OSI physical layer. And the Ethernet are majorly used in homes. The second topic I'll be talking about is the Internet Protocol. That's the Internet Protocol suite, commonly known as TCP/IP, and it's a framework of organizing the set of communication protocols used in the Internet and similar computer networks according to functional criteria functional protocols in the suite are TCP, which is Transmission Control Protocol, and the User Datagram Protocol. So the Internet Protocol, in the development of this networking model, the early versions were known as DoD, which is Department of Defense model, because the research and development were funded by the United States of Defense. Then the Internet Protocol suite provides an end-to-end data communication specifying how data should be packetized, addressed, transmitted, routed, and received. The functionality is organized into 4 abstract layers, which classified all related protocols relating to each protocol scope of networking. So the third one we'll be talking about now is the wireless communication, which is the transfer of information between 2 or more points without the use of an electric conductor, and optical fiber or the continuous guided medium for the transfer. The most common wireless technologies use radio waves. With radio waves, intended distances can be short, such as few meters for Bluetooth or as far as 1,000,000 kilometers for deep space radio communications. Thereby, it encompasses various types of fixed, mobile, and portable applications, including two-way radios, cellular phones, and personal digital assistants, that's PDAs, and wireless networking. Examples of application of radio wireless technology include the GPS, the garage door openers, wireless computer mouse, keyboards, headsets, headphones, satellite TV, and broadcast television. Somewhat less common method of achieving wireless communication involve other electromagnetic phenomena, such as light and magnetic or electric field, or the use of sound. The term wireless has been used twice in communication history, which is slightly different meaning. It was initially used from about 1890 for the first radio transmitting and receiving technology as wireless telegraphy. Then until the new radio replaced it around the 1920s. The term wireless was revived in the 1980s and 1990s, mainly to distinguish between digital devices that communicate without wires, such as example listed in previous paragraph. Those are radios, TVs, or wire cables, and this became a primary use in 2000s due to the advent technology such as the mobile and broadband Wi-Fi that we use currently. The wireless operation permits services such as mobile and interplanetary communications that are impossible or impractical to implement with the use of wires. The term is commonly used in the telecommunication industry to refer to communication systems such as radio transmitters, receiver, and remote controls, which use some form of energy, e.g. radio waves and acoustic energy. So to buttress my point, to transfer information without the use of wires, information is transferred in this manner over both short and long distances. Thank you very much.
I go by the name Ubaja Pascal Chibike, and I am a member of Group 15 for the presentation. Okay, so I am here to present or make more elaborations on the topic which I chose, which is networks. So yeah, we will start from the definition of network. So a computer network is a set of computers sharing resources located on or provided by network nodes. So yeah, so then under it I'm to explain more about transmission models and transmission media and protocol. So transmission media, these are the ways or channel through which transmission takes place, like through which transmission occurs. So yeah, why the protocols are the rules and conventions used in conversation, that's using the transmission. So there are different types of transmission media, but I'm going to explain just 3, which are the twisted pair cable, the optical pair cable, and the coaxial cable. So the twisted pair cable, yeah, in this type of transmission media, two insulated conductors of a single circuit are twisted together to improve electromagnetic compatibility. That is, there are 2 conductors that are involved and they come from a single circuit, which which are twisted together to increase electromagnetic compatibility. Then the next type of transmission media we have is optical fiber cable. So the optical fiber cable is also known as fiber optic cable. That's another name for optical fiber cable. It's also known as fiber optic cable. And they are thin strands of glass that uses light along their length. So they make use of long distance communications too. Like their communications, like, how will I say it now? They make use of long distance communications though. The next and last type of transmission media I'm going to explain, like give a brief explanation on, is the coaxial cable. The coaxial cable contains an insulation layer that transmits information in baseband mode and broadband mode. So yeah, they transmit information in baseband mode and broadband mode. Why? Now I'm going to go, like, we have under the transmission media we have wired media. Sorry, I forgot to elaborate before explaining the types of transmission media. They have wired media and wireless media. So under the wired media, these are the media that comprise of like wires. This is under wired media that we have twisted pair cable, optical fiber cable, which is also known as fiber optic cable, and coaxial cable. So now I'm now going to briefly explain on wireless media. So under the wireless media we have network waves or radio waves, which, like, we all know what waves are. They use signal to facilitate. Then after the radio waves we have the microwaves. We all know what it's about. So microwaves, they are tiny and they use signal to operate.